Hey ho guys, it's Chip from Mystery Angels and Chip and Guardian. Guardian's over there, he is, from Chip and Guardian's Adventures. So guys, how are you today? You doing good? I hope so. I hope you're all well, all your family's safe and well. And I've been looking at Voice Behind the Wall, and there's a lot of people angry with them, and I want to explain something to you, and I want to explain, hopefully they watch this video and then it might make it a bit more clearer why a lot of people are angry with them, right? I'm not angry with them. I feel sorry for them because obviously they don't understand abuse and abusers, which is sad, because if they've got kids, how can they protect their kids from these bad people if they don't know the signs? So I thought I would help. Instead of shouting at them, screaming at them, telling them what you're doing, all this, I want to help, because that's what we do. When someone's not educated, or someone doesn't understand something, or someone falls for abusers, there's a lot of people out there that do fall, and even experts fall for them, like psychiatrists. That's why they can get out and do it again and again and again. That's why the parole hearing, they all fall for it. And that's why they use the Bible as a get out of jail free card, because they all fall for it. And all criminals know how to get out of all sorts of things, right? So I'm going to explain this to make it more clearer why people are angry at them. You know, I don't shout at people because I don't understand a lot of stuff that I don't know, right? The only reason why I know about this so good is because I've been through it from the age of 5 to the age of 14, when I was released finally, because I could fight back, right? And I fought back, believe me, right? And ever since. So I'm just saying that that's my word, by the way. Apparently, my care worker says I say that word a lot. I'm sorry, guys, if it's bugging you. If it's bugging you, let me know, and I will really try hard not to use the word just saying, right? But I'm just saying that because I say something, and in everyone else's world, it doesn't hold water, right? It's not important. Oh, you're autistic. What do you know? You've got learning difficulties. Well, I've got an English literature degree, so I've got a master's. I'm also a qualified chef. But, okay, that doesn't matter though. I'm autistic with learning difficulties. What do I know, right? What qualifies me to have this opinion? Like I said, from the age of 5 to the age of 14, I've seen it all. I've seen them all. From vicars to priests to nuns to everyday business people to coming, police officers, big high-ranking people that are supposed to protect people and children. Yeah. We have what's called NSPCC when we were younger. And boy, they're one of the worst. And that's when I figured they go into all these jobs that's supposed to protect children and protect vulnerable people, and instead they go in there to hurt them, like they call them old people's homes. I prefer to call them retired gentlefolk, right? Now, the retired gentlefolk, they go into homes to have the best life they can, what's left, because they can't do it themselves. And our job is to make sure they have the best life, because one, they've made it that far, so you've got to respect that. They've made it into their 80s and 90s. And two, they've got so much knowledge that they can teach us, so we don't have to destroy our future because they'll have the answers. So we should respect them, right? But instead, people that don't like them, that hate them, that think they stink, they're horrible, they shouldn't be alive, obviously no, they're not going to reach that age. So they go into that to taunt them and hurt them. And, you know, it's like Beverly Allitt. She wanted to talk children, so she went in and become one of the best nurses there was. Everyone praised her and everything, and all that time she was killing babies and bringing them back because she wanted to be a hero. This is why everyone said, why H? Because Beverly Allitt, she wasn't a child killer. She was a serial killer, but she wasn't a child killer. She wanted to be a hero because when someone praised her, she wanted more and more of that. So she became a nurse to save children's lives. But she saw that most of them, there is no, like, angst. You know, they come in with chest infections, the doctor fixes them, the nurse looks after them, they go home healthy. So she needed more and more and more to get more and more praise. So in the end, she hurt more and more children, but unfortunately, she killed them. But do you see what I'm saying? Now, I'm not feeling sorry for her. She's an asshole. And she's an adult, so why should I feel sorry for her? But what I'm saying to you is, you know, in this world, there's a lot of nasty, disgusting people. Or if you see a bump here, it's because I've headbutted the wall. I heard something, Don said, can you see it? I've damaged my nose there. And I was so angry, I headbutted the wall. And if you've got kids, autistic, if you've got autistic people in your life, you'll know what I mean. Yeah, I headbutted the wall. I'm not going to lie. You know what I mean? So if I've got bruising on my nose, I've got, this is all swollen, I'm wearing a cap, I've cut the back of my head because I got angry. Right, that's what I do. Yeah, I'm autistic. You see, the way I look at it is that's why I don't judge people on their actual behaviour when they do stuff. Like, when I see a kid tantruming in the shop, I don't look at the parents and think, you're a bad parent. I look at the kid and think, oh, look, he's hurting or she's hurting, or I wonder what they want. And I go over and try and help. And me and Guardian, 9 out of 10 times, do calm down and talk to them because I understand their point of view and how they're getting it across. Because I didn't have parents. I didn't have no one that listened to me. So I learnt how to get by with what I got. But most autistic people have great parents, have great carers. The trouble is, they do too much for them. So then they feel entitled, so they don't learn. Whereas unfortunately, no, I had nobody to teach me anything, so I had to learn whatever my environment was. You know, and it's to everyone else says, oh, but you didn't have parents that. But the good thing is I survived it. I'm not on drugs, I'm not on alcohol, I've never broke the law. I'm not a goody two-shoes, I smoke. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a goody two-shoes or anything. I've done things wrong. Like, I've shouted at people I shouldn't have. I've beaten a few people up with white rage that I didn't know and I got diminished responsibility for. I've done some things like that. But I've never done, like, the law. I've never, because I was too busy wanting a family. See, what's in your soul and what you really want is what you'll go for as an autistic person. I don't know what someone without autism does because I've never had that, but someone with autism, once we've got a mind set on something, then nothing will take our mind off it. And all I wanted was a family. That's all I wanted. That's all I ever wanted. I wanted, like, to watch, like, when I used to watch Christmas stuff, I wanted that. I wanted a family with a Christmas tree and opening presents and everybody having a laugh and a meal, and that's what I wanted. And me and my brothers wanted that. So we got that and nothing stood in our way. And we watched people who couldn't cope with their life, went on drugs and stuff, and then lost what they worked so hard for. And I was sad for them. Can you imagine working all your life and then can't cope, and then to cope you take a substance that takes that away from you, takes everything you've worked for in the first place to not cope, just take it away from you. That's so sad. It's really, oh, it's so heartbreaking. Like those people who sit downstairs in their basements, in their parents' basements, and they don't have love and they sit on the computer all the time and they don't have friends and love, and they don't know what it's like. You know, I feel so sorry for them. It really hurts. Do you know what I mean? Like those keyboard warriors and stuff. They attack people because they're so sad inside. And if someone could just go and love them, if every person in the world just says, you're okay. This is my motto. I will never stand behind you. I will never stand in front of you. I will never stand beneath you. And I will never stand above you. But I'll always stand by your side. And if you fall, I will pick you up and hold you on your side. But if you can't, I'll come down with you and we both stand up together. But I will always be by your side. That's my saying. I've said it ever since I was small because I believe that. Being behind someone or in front of someone, above someone or beneath someone's not going to work. You need to be beside them. And if they fall, we need to either bring them up to us, or if they can't, we need to go down and bring them up to us. So this is why I've seen a lot of people get angry with these people, but really they just don't understand. They don't know. They don't know what an abuser looks like. So I decided to do something. I decided to show them why people are angry at them and give them reasons and give them points. And then hopefully they can protect their children and don't let Don into their house. If they've got children, oh, Don, come and stay with us. Don't worry about it. Sleep on our couch. Don't worry about it. We'll leave you our kids. We trust you. No, 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 no. Stop. Don't. Look, just watch this first. And I guarantee you, once you watch this, you'll see it. And then don't. I'm not saying don't have them over. Just keep your kids away when you do. Everybody, even the church. Do you see how many children are in that church running around? Just keep them away. Keep an eye on all of them. Because predators aren't always killers. That's rare. It's very rare for a predator to kill because it's hard to get hold of an abused kid that you're able to manipulate. It takes a lot of time to get them to that point. It's very rare that they would murder the abused person. Very rare. It's either an accident or they've done it because they can't be bothered to spend ages, or they haven't got no one that's got kids. Do you see what I mean? So they have to go out and just do what they need to do and then kill them. They don't want to, but there's no choice. They prefer to have someone on tap sort of thing. You know, like an alcoholic would love to live in a pub. Well, a paedophile would love to live in a place where there's thousands of kids that they could just get up in the morning, and think, oh, I fancy that one tonight and take it. Or that one today and take it. And then put it back when they're finished. And then keep going. And it's just a constant. They prefer that. But they can't. So some people haven't got access to that. That's why they kill. It's not because they want to kill. That's the bit they don't like. Because then it's messy. And these people aren't messy people. These people just want to do what they want to do, get the jollies off, and then bugger off. That's what they want. They want the least possible mess, if you like, as possible. So if they've got a child right there that they can go whenever they want to, whatever they think happens, like their feelings happen or whatever, I don't understand it. I think they should all be castrated so they don't have them feelings. Then they can control themselves, can't they? There's no excuses. But that's just my opinion. So, there's my rant. So, this is why Don, Candice and Grandma are the most biggest suspects out of everybody we know. So, are you ready? Okay. Ta-da! My whiteboard. I spent all day yesterday with my care worker on it. All day. Do you like it? So cool, isn't it? Look at all that. Right. So, Don. These are, I will explain each one, but these are very clear on the basic abusers. So it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, whatever. A predator, let's call predator because you can use that word. A predator will have things like traits because they've been taught by another predator. So they always taught by someone else. So, you know, when you learn to drive, people say, don't learn to drive with just anybody. Learn to drive with a professional because they'll know what to show you and what not to show you. Whereas a normal person like your mum, dad, family members, brothers, sisters, whatever, try to teach you, you'll pick up their habits. And that could be wrong for your test to an examiner. Okay? So, I might need to take a break through these because it is triggering. So, for everybody who's triggered, I apologise so much. But I think I need to do this to help, especially Mr. and Mrs. Share Behind the Wall, Voice Behind the Wall. I need to show them why everybody's angry at them. And then maybe, even if it's just, it makes them think, oh, let's just keep our kids away just in case. Then I'd be happy with that. But at the minute, they're scaring me because they're talking to Don and that. If they've got kids or animals, they're going to bring kids into they're going to bring him into their environment because they so-called trust him. And that's the point. That's when your children become victims because people go against other people and believe the abusers. So I'm going to give you so you can look out for these traits. These are traits that every abuser has. Every abuser. Right. So the first thing they do is put the blame on others. So if you listen to Don, he always says, well, I wanted her to have her own bedroom and her own bed, but she just wanted to stay with me, so I couldn't say no. So it's her fault, not mine. But you're the adult. Yeah, but she made me so in her control. I couldn't say no. She controls me. So if she wanted to touch me, what could I do? I couldn't say no. If she wanted me to stroke her hair to go to sleep, I couldn't say no. If she wanted me to stroke her back slowly, because it tickles, because some children like that, it keeps them calm. But to be honest, someone like Don should not be doing that. But I couldn't help it. She was crying, Daddy, please, please rub me because I'm hurting. Please. Okay. So they put the blame on others. So it's all their fault. Doesn't matter what age they are. Another thing, they normalise their behaviour. And they make other people believe it's normal. So something like, oh, yeah, Summer's been sleeping in my bed for 5 years, all her life. Next to me for 5 years. Not next to me and her mum. Not she wanted to be in bed with me and her mum. Not she wanted to be close to her mum and me. Not because she was frightened of monsters under her bed. Not because she didn't feel that her bed was comfortable. Not because she was scared to sleep alone. It didn't give you a reason why she wanted to stay. And she didn't say, I wanted to stay with mummy and daddy. Most kids say, could I sleep with you, mummy, daddy? And when you say to them, where did you sleep last night? They go, oh, mummy and daddy's bed. Because the kids acknowledge that that's mummy and daddy's bed. It's a safe haven. It's safety. It's when you're scared, when you feel ill, when you want to cuddle up and watch TV. It's a mum and dad's bed is supposed to be a protection, a saviour. If anything frightens you, you run in there and you're protected. You're between two people that you know you're going to be safe from these monsters with 20 eyes and under the bed and stuff like that, right? So a child in a mum and dad's bed should feel safe. It should be their place to go when they're frightened. But he normalises his part. she wants to sleep with me. So if I, you know what, then it's because of her. It's her fault. It's Summer's fault. She wanted me to. She kept asking me. I couldn't say no. It's not normal for a man to turn around and say, she wanted to sleep with me. She didn't say, she was crying and I saw her eyes and she was going, but I want to sleep with you and mummy. He normalised that she wanted to sleep with him. He made it clear it was him she wanted to sleep with. Not mummy, him. What man turns around and says, my daughter wanted to sleep with me? I've always heard people say, oh, my daughter slept with me and my wife because she's scared, or because she doesn't like sleeping alone in a room, or because something taps her window overnight, so I've got to get that fixed. Or, you know, that's what you're supposed to say. When my kids got scared, they would like run in the room screaming and go, can I sleep with you tonight? And I'd be like, why, what's wrong? Oh, there's something moving in my room. Right, I'll go kick their ass. So I go kick their ass and I say, tonight you can stay, but tomorrow we're going to sort out that thing that's frightening you and we're going to beat it up and get rid of it together. That's normal. Because the baby feels safe. The child feels safe in your bed. That's normal. So when he mentions bed and parents, a dad, that's when your brain starts to say, well, that's normal. My kids sleep with my husband. But what isn't normal is what he says to you. She wants to sleep. Not she would like, oh, she wants to sleep. She wants to sleep with me. Not us. Not me and my wife. Not my wife and me. She wants to sleep with me. With no reason. Yeah, she's been sleeping with us since she was born. Well, at first, they would sleep with the mum because they're breastfeeding. But mostly, the dad sleep downstairs or in the other rooms or in one of the spare rooms or with the kids and that or on the floor because they need to get up for work and stuff. And normally, it's the mother and baby. So the dad would sleep in the other room with the other kids so the mum can have like another boy or something so the mum can have time with the baby. That's the bonding time. That's normal. So when parents see bed, father, your brain automatically, because you're not in that situation of pervertedness, you're not going to think anything of that. You're going to think, well, our kids do that. So he normalizes what actually he's saying when really he's not saying that. He's tricking your brain to oh, I identify with you. You identify with me. So if you identify with having a child in your bed, then if you call me a pedo, then you're one. Do you see what I mean? That's when he puts the blame on you. Well, you can't call me names because your child sleeps in your bed. Yeah, but my child sleeps in my bed between me and my missus. My child sleeps in my bed for protection, for safety. Maybe they haven't got brothers and sisters. Maybe the brothers and sisters won't have them because they've got school and this is a baby under 5 that hasn't got school. Do you see what I'm saying? So, because your brains don't think of the abusive side, it's like, well, what's wrong with that? We sleep with our kids. But listen to the words. Listen to how you would say it and then listen to how he says it. She wanted it. Not Summer, not the baby, not anything else, but she wanted it. She wanted it. She wanted to sleep. I couldn't say no. She wanted to sleep with me. Where's Candice? He's constantly talking about him and Summer like they're in a relationship. And Candace is just like the second wife, if you like. And this is what you've got to be careful. Abusers will normalise the fact that that child is like their first or second wife. That child, and this is why when you get polygamist, people automatically think, oh, women are being abused, they're being abused, when actually some don't. Some actually like to be polygamist, like the Browns, right? But then they normalise that up to a certain extent of, well, if you have two women in the bed, then he's a piece of you know what, and he's controlling these women. Right? So this is why he'll blame others. You can't call me names because it's normal for a child to sleep in the parent's bed. Yes, of course it is. But what's not normal is what he sees it as. And Don sees it as she wants to sleep next to me. Not a mum. She doesn't want to sleep in the bed because she's scared of something, or because she doesn't like her bed, or because she hasn't even got a room. If they would have made a room for her, she wouldn't want to sleep in their bed if she had teddy bears on her bed, if she made a room pink with like Chase and all them lot in her room. She'd love to be in her room. Kids love their room when it's full of their stuff. But he didn't want that. He wanted her to only want that place. Or otherwise, he would have done everything. Most of us would do anything to get their children back into their beds. And we would do anything. So if they were frightened because of a certain tree, we would chop that tree down, even if it took us 50 years. We would go out with an axe ourselves and hammer that tree down so they can go back into their bed. Because adults need adult time. Right? And you can't have adult time with children in there. You can't. It's just, you shouldn't. Because what if they wake up? They're going to be scared. The noises and everything else, to a child, that looks like you're killing someone. If you think about it from a child's point of view. Can you imagine opening your eyes and your mum's making funny noises and your dad's on top of it? It looks like he's killing her. You see what I'm saying? So you just wouldn't. So that's how he gets away with it. That's how a lot of people normalise what he says. Because he tries to say, well, if you think about me being that way, then you've got to think about you being that way because you do the same thing as me. Because people don't listen to the words. They just listen to the action of the words. Right? But Don was very clear. She wanted to sleep with me. That's it. Not because she was frightened, not because she needed a room, not because she wanted a room, not because she wanted to be with mummy and daddy, not because she was scared, but just because she wanted to sleep with dad. And he normalised that. Would you normalise that? Would you, let me ask you a question. If you were a parent and the child wanted to sleep directly with just that parent constantly, would you think, what's going on here? And would you allow it to happen constantly? Or would you start to go, no, let's get them in the bed. And if the other parent, male or female, doesn't matter. If the other parent says, no, 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 just leave them here. It's fine, just leave them here. That's when you start to have your little, hold on a minute, they don't want to get them out of the bed. What's going on here? But mostly, people would think they're having an affair. That's because we can't, our brains doesn't go to the unquestionable. Unless you've been there, it's very hard. This is why people say, oh, families hide the fact that people are being abused. It's not because of shame and that. It's because it's not possible. That everyone blames themselves. It can't be possible because I would have known. No way. And then when they see the signs afterwards, it's like, oh my God. No, no, can't be, can't be, can't be. Nope, nope, not under my roof. I didn't give birth to that. Nope, 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 didn't do that. I didn't marry a person like that. Nope, 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 nope. And then denial comes in, and because of denial, everything gets shut down. It's human nature to do that. Doesn't exist, never happened. What are you talking about? Behave yourself. It's just the way it is. I've been through it. Right? So, putting the blame on everyone else and normalising, that's the most important thing, is making him feel that he's making people feel that they're a part, you're a part of this because your kids sleep in your bed. So the normal bit is kids sleep in parents' bed. Yes, they do. That's the normal bit. The abnormal bit is, why didn't he tell us what she was wearing? Why? Because she probably doesn't wear anything because it's hot. Can you imagine 3 people in that hot weather in the bed? And Candace ain't the smallest of people, so can you imagine the heat? And you're in the middle as a child that can't regulate your heat properly. That's why children get fevers and stuff. It's for their body to learn how to regulate their body temperature, the hypothermia. I'm not a doctor, but I looked it up on YouTube, how to regulate your body temperature. And it calls it a hypothermia. Actually, it looks like a woman's stiletto, what I saw of it. It's weird. That's how I remember it. Right? So, when Don talks, don't listen to the normal stuff. Like, oh, the child wants to be with her parents. What's wrong with that? Listen to the words he says. Okay? She wants to sleep with me. A 5-year-old doesn't know what she wants. A 5-year-old knows what she needs. Right? So, Summer is telling us that for some reason, in her life, it's normal to sleep with her dad. In her life, it's normal not to be close to the mum. For Summer. Right? So, Summer wouldn't think of her mum automatically because her brain's been trained to think about her dad and only her dad. So who put that into her brain? So when he said she was crying saying, Daddy, I want to sleep with you, and not Daddy, I want to sleep in your bed with you and Mummy, which is what most kids say, or your mummies or your daddies or whatever. I'm not being like gay hating or anything here. I'm gay myself. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying most children would say both parents. Wouldn't just say one specific parent unless it was the mum. But then you can understand why the child's close to the mum because she's breastfed them for God knows how many years in the bed. So they would want mum more. But I'm talking about a child that's not breastfed, a child that's kept, that doesn't need breastfed, is not got a dummy, who sits there and says, I want to sleep with you. Can you imagine if he changes that to, she asked me to sleep with her, so I did. What's the problem? That's normalising. Now, I get it, everybody's saying, but he might not have. His forte is 5 years old. It's not a coincidence, guys. 5 years old. His sister got started abused at 5 years old. He's learned how old you are before you can do something to a child's body and what you can and can't do. Remember, this isn't his first rodeo. So he would know what he can do and what he can't do, what he can touch, what he can't touch. But also, Summer's going to school. So he can no longer control and normalise what they're doing. So if she turns round, because now she thinks it's normal, she will just tell her friends and her teachers, yeah, Daddy cuddles me, Daddy does this. They're going to know straight away, whoa, that ain't right. But Summer's not going to understand that. So what is the likelihood that Summer was going to start in a few weeks school? when her last day, she happened to be put in the only clothes they had, which was her school uniform, in the grandma's car. Why would they put it in the grandma's car? Why would she have her school uniform in the grandma's car? Explain it. She's got quite a few weeks yet. They went with the Subaru shopping. Don made that very clear. Well, Candice normally takes the kids shopping to get the school clothes, so Summer chose the school clothes, and we put it at the back of the Subaru. But Candice, for some reason, the last week, didn't use the Subaru. It was just sitting there since Summer's gone missing, so I used it. It's not a coincidence. In things like this cases, there is no coincidences. Everything is meticulously done. And you'll see what I'm talking about. Want me to explain? Okay, I explain. So, not only does he normalise, but he also normalises to Candy that it's normal for a woman to be dependent on a man. And then he throws the Bible in. Look, here's proof. And he puts her in a place where other people believe his way of thinking, which is normally Christians, which is normally people in the church. What he cuts out is, but it also says that women should be admired and the husband should protect and respect the woman. So he takes that out. So he tells Candice, it's normal for a man to be in control, for a man to do the work, for the man to bring home the bacon, for the man to pay for everything, and for the woman to stay at home and do your job and be a mother, and that's it. But he's got to isolate Candice. So he's got to find a group of people that will not and have never not been able to come out and tell Candice, look, this ain't right. The way he's behaving with them kids ain't right. The way he's talking ain't right. What better group than to go to a small town church that's not going to, that are naive, that are not strong enough to stand up and protect someone. So he puts her, and she doesn't want to go to church. She wants to be a gangster. She wants to go out. She wants to enjoy herself. She wants to hang out with 15 and 16-year-olds. She not for sexual things. She just wants to be free like that. She just wants to have a childhood that she probably didn't have. And Don keeps bringing her more kids and banging her down and holding her down. And he's got to make her believe he's got a wild child there. That's why she gets beaten. And you guarantee if he's guilty, he's going to say that. Well, I had to beat her. She kept running off. She kept doing this. She wouldn't be a parent. She wouldn't be nice to Summer. She wouldn't feed Summer. I had to make her feed Summer. I had to make her breastfeed Summer and the boys. She refused. It's her fault. She made me do it. I had to do it to make her a mother. It's her fault I abused Summer because she wouldn't give me what I needed. But Summer would. He said it on a number of occasions. Summer loves me. I don't know why, but her and God are the only ones that love me. So he's seen Summer as his partner, not his daughter. This is how a real father would say it, or a real parent would say. Oh, out of all the children, I don't know what it is, but they're more attached to me than they are Candice. They're more attached to me. They run for me. They call me. I can't have 5 minutes to pee or poop. They're there. I turn around. They're there. And sometimes you just need a break. So I want to go out, but then you can hear them screaming and kicking. And I do feel guilty, but I do need a break, because if I don't get a break, then I can't be the best parent for them. That's the explanation. That's the normal thing. Remember I was saying normalisation. So the families won't listen to that. They will listen to, well, Summer's close to me. She sees me as a parent. She didn't want a mum. She wanted me. That's not true. A child's natural thing from the age of 1 to 4 is mummy. It's got to be, because how would they survive? They can't talk, they can't walk, and they need food. Who's the one that's got it? Daddy? Has daddy got breast milk? No, mummy has. So nature naturally pulls them towards their mum. And even if their mother hates their guts, it's not the point. The child doesn't understand that. The child understands that it needs feeding. The child's basic needs are feeding, going toilet, being clean, and sleeping and growing. That's it. So the child's basic need is to go to the one who provides them the warmth, but if not, just the food. It's a survival instinct. You don't have to be a genius to know that, or a scientist or a doctor to know that, because if you watch nature, nature doesn't have doctors and nurses telling them what to do. Doesn't have like nurses to do like, you know, prenatal classes, stuff like that. They learn what to do by instinct. So the mum would naturally, instinctively feed her pups and keep coming back. It might get her mad. She might get angry because they're getting older and it's hurting them, and she's probably got mastitis and stuff. But she will let them still supple because it's part of her instinct to do that. She won't reject them. And if she does, one of the other females will lactate and will give them the milk. I don't know why everyone thinks we're so far away from animals. We're not. We're more closer to our instincts than you think. This is why we struggle with weight. Because we're moved so far away from our instincts. It's unbelievable. Because it's so easy to get it. Our instinct is to savage, right? So if there's a dead carcass that just died, you would rather use that and get the meat off that if it's just died and it's not poisonous or anything, compared to having to chase one, bring one down, cut one up, kill one, do all what you need to do to secure it. Well, same with our basic nature. This is why stores and that put everything that's bad for you right at the front. So as you're walking through, you're seeing it. And if they're not selling much stuff because it's in a place where there's loads and loads of good stuff, you're not going to see the product. So they bring the product out and put it amongst the bad stuff that most people wouldn't touch. And they'd be like, oh, look at that. That's on offer. That's the whole point. It's hunting. When you go shopping, you're hunting. That's why you have the fruit before you have the meat. Because you look at it, yeah? You look at it. It's like you're going, instead of going hunting, the first thing you do is do gathering, right? So you'd get the fruit, the nuts, the wheat, everything else in. And then you would choose a group to go hunting. But if you don't get that meat, you've still got that. So if you look at when you go shopping, your instinct is to go down them fruit aisles first and that, pick what you need first, and then move on to the meat. Just watch. Watch yourself how you shop. Watch how you do it. So it will be fruit and veg first. Then it would be like, I don't know, cheese, processed meat stuff. All the easy stuff first. And then you would go for the meat. And your last thing would be bread. Why? Because bread and drinks are not essential, like alcohol and stuff. So they're right at the end. What's at the beginning, that's essentials, fruit, veg, is meat, is dairy. That's essential. And that's why you will see the vegetarian and vegan section right near the dairy section. It's not because they're saying, oh, you can have a choice of this, or this is a free meat, so you can have meat, but it doesn't have to be real meat. It can be this meat. It looks like it, it sounds like it, it smells like it, it tastes like it. Have a look. That's not why they do it. They do it because no matter how vegan you are or vegetarian, you still follow your instincts. It's just vegans and vegetarians and that would spend more time collecting than they would hunting. Honestly, just watch your behaviour. You'll see. Your instinct what to do. And if you see, always on your right, there's always clothes. Why? Because for you to go hunting and do stuff, you need clothes, don't you? You need clothes for school, you need clothes for your job, you need clothes. We have certain clothes for certain things. I mean, you don't go in a suit and do the garden or paint. We have a purpose for all our clothes at all times. But we've done that since. You wouldn't get a hunter, you wouldn't get a gatherer needing a bulletproof vest, would you? Why would they? But you'd get them to have gloves and make them special gloves and special leg things so they don't get stung when they're going in and they don't get pierced when they're bringing the fruit and veg. Because most plants will have protection on them. Thorns, stuff like that. That's the point. They protect their fruit. That ensures their survival, because if the fruit drops to the floor, the seeds dry, the seeds go into the ground, the birds pick the seeds up, they run off with it, they poop it back out because they can't digest seeds. The seeds are now fertilised, they're in somewhere else, it goes into the ground, boom, done. It's spreaded its seed. This is why we need wildlife. Wildlife spreads honey, seeds and everything else. Look, let's go. Right, what are you after? You know what time it is? It's only 4 o'clock in the morning. What are you after? Well, you've been cute. You've been cute. Everyone's watching you. You're on video. Guardian, you're on video. Are you on video? Are you? You want to say anything? You're just ignoring me for the sake of it. What are you looking at? Should we carry on? Okay. So, that's why. So what Don's doing is normalising every single person. He's trying to relate normality with what's normal. So our brains are not naturally going to think anything filthy, predatorial. Because we're not like that, right? So our brains wouldn't naturally dig in and look for a predatorial sort of way unless you've been exposed to it or you are it. That's only the only two. If you're exposed to it or you are it. So it's not their fault when they can't see that Don is predatory and that he is normalising it, and that's why they want to defend him. That's why they think he's innocent. This is why the police don't rule anything out, because they look at the signs, and they've done it for many, 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 many years. And that's why they get angry at Chris, because Chris is showing the signs. But Don can't let them see that Chris is getting closer to what, like, him and his experts are calling him out of his things. They're not saying he's done it. They're saying this is, and this is why I'm putting it into content, so people can see what I'm talking about. Why Don is a suspect, why Candice is, and why Grandma is. Because maybe they can't see it. Maybe they're just seeing what Don's doing, which is manipulating. And this is what they do. This is why everyone around him doesn't believe the child and believes the predator. That's the whole point. They put everyone in that position. They pick on people who... So Mr. and Mrs. Scheer are victims just as much as anyone else is. Anyone who believes Don and that are victims. They're not survivors, they're victims. They're going to be victims of Don's normalising everything. And they don't understand. So we can't be angry at them, can we? It's not fair, because I don't understand things in life. Is everyone going to be angry with me because I don't understand some things? No. So maybe we should cut them a bit of a break, because they're being abused at the minute by Don. We're watching. Just because they're adults doesn't mean anything. He's normalising it. So He's watching. So anyone who is with Don and believes Don didn't do nothing and Don's innocent, they're already victims of Don. They're the type of people that wouldn't be able to protect their children. They're the type of people that we have to help and educate. They're the type of people that need the police in their life, need people in their life to teach them to look out for abusers and stuff, right? We shouldn't be angry at them. We should teach them, educate. That's how you make a better world. You teach people what you know, and then it helps them make a better world in the future. And then they teach, and other people teach them what they know, and they get together, and then they become a whole human being of what they've been taught. It's the way it works. It's not their fault, right? So this is why I wanted to do this, to say to Mr. and Mrs. Shea, this is what we see in Don. This is why everybody's blaming Don Candice and them. This is what we see, because we're not victims. We're either survivors or people are intelligent enough to see through this person, right? If you don't see through it, we're going to help you so you can protect your children the best way you can. As otherwise, if you allow Don into your house and believe he's innocent in everything he does, nobody's saying he's guilty about some. If you've looked, nobody's saying Don did this. Not one person saying it. Not one person is saying Don did this, he killed that, that's it, he's guilty. Nobody. What we're saying is he's a predator. And he's a damn good one, because he's been doing it since he was a child to his sisters. And I don't know what people keep saying, stepsister, stepsister. Look, it doesn't matter about blood. You have a family, and it don't matter if it's blood or not. You love your family no matter what. You see them as brothers and sisters if you're brought up as brothers and sisters. End of. They're Don's sisters. End of. They call his dad dad. End of. It doesn't matter if they're biologically related or not, or blood related or not. It doesn't matter. Guardian's not blood related to me, but I love him to bits. He looks nothing like me. He walks on 4s. I walk on 2. Unless I get dizzy, then I walk on 4s. He's cuter than I am. He's smarter than I am. He does more than I do in society. He helps me in society. He understands more than I do. It's about being respectful. It's about respecting that every single living thing in this world has a purpose and a place. And the only reason why we've been given this gift of thoughts, hands, legs, is to be taught to become. Everyone has to be taught. The first healer had to be taught how to heal. What plants did what with where. Now, when Jesus went missing, everybody says he went missing. He didn't. He got caught on a boat with a fisherman and learned how to fish. And understood about how to feed people and load of people, because the Greeks fed loads of families and loads of people. They had grandparents, great-grandparents, children, grandchildren living with them. So he learned, Jesus learned, and then he learned about herbs. It's not a coincidence, right, guys, that every medicine we've got comes from a Greek Latin word. And Jesus was a healer when he come back. He wasn't before. He was after he come back. He didn't believe in his father and his mother's religion. He felt different. He felt something else, that his destiny was something else. So he went away and found his destiny. He was sitting alone, and a Greek fisherman was coming past and said to him, "Are you okay?" And he just said he was 14, he could leave, he left. He didn't want to be a sheep farmer or goat farmer or anything like that. He wanted to be something more. He wanted to do more. He wanted to be like a doctor and nurses today. Check it out. Check out where all your medicines come from. Check out where the words come from. It's all Latin, Greek. By the way, I can speak Latin and Greek and Italian and Spanish and French. Not bad for an autistic person with learning difficulties. How did I do all that? I had what's called DLA money. I had money for my disability, and I used it to get a retired teacher to come with me through college and university. And she read for me, and she made me, she read it so I could understand it in a different way. She was an English teacher for people with autism and learning difficulties and stuff. And she taught me how to understand things in a different way because I couldn't understand it the way they were putting it on the paper. So she would read it and then explain it to me so I understand it, and I give her my take on it, and then she would put it into words that they understood. You can do anything you want to put your mind to if you want it bad enough. Anything. I wanted a family. It's all I've ever wanted, and that's what I fought for, and it got taken off me again. But it doesn't matter. I'm still wanting a family. I still want my family. And before anyone goes, why? What happened? Did they take the kids off you? No, my wife, she had a chest infection and the doctor gave her the wrong medication. Threw her drip. It was too late. They couldn't resuscitate her. She was gone in seconds. Because the medicine she gave, the medicine he gave her was for someone with the same name, but an 88-year-old woman with cancer, and she was dying. It was diamorphine. My wife had a bad chest infection, couldn't breathe. She was gone in front of us. Just boom. That's what happens. Did I blame the doctor? No. Did I blame the world? He was knackered. He'd been working 48 hours. He was exhausted. He was a junior doctor. He shouldn't have done it. He shouldn't have had any of that medicine near him. But they didn't have enough doctors on. That's what happened, unfortunately. Do I think after everything I've been through that I deserve that? Nobody deserves anything. Nobody deserves anybody's partners to be taken away in that. I do appreciate more now, and I tell people to appreciate their family members more because I know in one heartbeat it could be gone. But I was a good person. My wife loved me. I loved her. I loved the kids like my own. I adopted them. I became the godparent. So I was very strong in their lives. Never argued. Being together from the age of 27 when I got married right the way up until my 40th. She missed my 40th birthday. She passed away at 45. But she's not gone, so I was lucky. I was very lucky because I can see the spirits and stuff, so I was very lucky that I can see and speak to her when I need to. I find that very lucky, to be fair. Anyway, carry on. So, normalisation. That's one of the biggest things they learn. They have to learn that for survival. Put the blame on others. It makes them normalise for them to normalise. That if they start blaming themselves, well, actually, it was my fault. I should have. Most parents say, oh, you know what? I should have been more stern. So I've seen a parent that said, I've never let my kids play in the park, but this specific one time that they went missing, this specific one time I said, oh, fine, I can see them across the way, go then, just go. because they were just mothering me. I'd had enough. I just wanted to get on with the dinner. I could see them from my kitchen window. So I thought it'd be fine. She went, I turned round, put the potato peelings in the bin, looked up, bang, they were gone. They went missing. I should have just said no. I should have done it, and I didn't. And because of that, my kids are missing. It's my fault. I should have done it. Don doesn't say it's my fault at all. Everything he's done in his life, he doesn't say it was my fault. He said Candice went down to the police station crying, saying, I want him out. Of course she did, because she's dependent on you, and you're controlling all the money and everything. And you can stop her taking money out if you're in prison. So the only way she could survive and get food for her kids and that is if she let you out. She didn't do it because she wanted to. Candice didn't do it because she wanted Don out. Candice done it because Don's got control of the money. So if Candice put Don in prison, she wouldn't be able to get any money. She would have to go to the authorities. And he made sure that she couldn't trust them. She couldn't depend on them. He's given so much horror stories and made her so addicted to him, so needing him, so dependent on him that he could do anything. And her survival instinct now is, I can't do nothing without Don. I can't breathe, I can't go toilet, I can't shop, I can't feed my kids, I can't feed the animals, I can't do nothing without Don. I can't live without Don. If Don leaves, I die. Because that's what he's done. He's controlling her with his words. And because of that, Candice's dependence, the dependency on, and which causes addiction. He's not addicted. He can stop and start when he wants. Candice is addicted. Why? Because he's made her addicted. He's made her dependent. So he's taken her soul away. So now she's just dependent on everything that makes her... You need this to be able to face being a mother. I can't be a mother to a girl. I can't face it. Maybe Candice didn't want Summer because she knew what Don was like. Maybe that's why she wanted all boys. Because he doesn't touch boys in the same way as he touches girls, as far as Candice understands. Maybe when this is all over, we get to find that Candice had enough and had to remove Summer. Maybe she gave Summer away herself. Maybe Don doesn't. This is why I think Don doesn't know where she is. Candice has been planning this with her mother. Could have. But Candice is dependent on Don. Dependent, which causes addiction. She depends on the drugs to survive. She depends on alcohol to keep going through the day, to keep living. She depends on Don to make sure that she's got money. She can feed the kids. She can clothe them. She's lost her mother's survival instinct because Don's took over. Right? These abusers always apologise about everything. Because sorry is like saying, want a candy, want a chocolate. Sorry means nothing to them. Because abusers, when they're hitting, say an alcoholic abuser hits their children, when he says, sorry daddy, they still beat on them. Maybe harder. So to these people, sorry means nothing. Stop means nothing. They don't hear it. They have selective hearing. Well, I didn't hear them say stop. They said I could. this is why people get told now, you can start going out with someone, you can they can take you home, you can start to strip, and then at the last minute say, you know what, I don't want this, and they have to accept it. But a person like Don wouldn't. They would say, well, no, you started it. No, I don't want it. I didn't hear her say no. I didn't hear him say no. Why would they be in bed with me? And that's when they start making people think. Because why would they be in bed with... They always give you a reason to normalise it. Well, why would they be in bed with... How did I get them into my house and in bed with me? It's not like they were drugged up or anything. They weren't drunk. They just had a couple of drinks. So how did I get her in my bed? Or how did I get in her house and get in her bed? Or how did I get in his house and get in his bed? He invited me in. She invited me in. Because for them to do that act, it's against human nature, right? Abuse is against human nature. You see animals abusing each other? No. It's against human nature. It's against any nature. For us, our natural instinct is to protect the young. That's what we're built for survival. The whole point of this earth, the whole point of us being caretakers is survival. For every living thing, it's survival. Right from an ant to a plant to a human, it's survival. Strip it down, black and white. Come on the autistic side for once. Strip it down, black and white. It's survival. So for them to go beyond the natural order of brain, there has to be a damage, something wrong with the brain, either mental disorders or... But they can't be a normal brain. A normal brain will not do that because of our instinct. So if we have to be like, say, take a predator of some sort, they would have to block out certain things for them to carry it out. They would have to train their brain and block out certain instincts that stops them. See, we all have instincts. See, with autism, we don't see danger. So we see a 50-foot tree. Our excitement is, I can climb that. I bet you I can climb that. Oh, that'd be so cool. That's what's in our head. In everyone else's head is, Jesus Christ, watch out for that branch. It's got a crash. Watch out for that. Don't climb that. That's too dangerous. You know how 50 foot can do if you hit the floor? We don't see that. We see a car coming down and it's a cool yellow Beetle. Say, oh, look, that's just like Herbie. And we stand in the road looking at it. Bang, we get knocked over. So the people around us are like, what you doing? Stand at the side. But I can't see it at the side. I can see it better in the road. Get out. You'll get run over. For God's sake, what about the other cars coming? What other cars? Most kids have that. But the instinct in autistic people are totally different. We don't see danger in the way a person does see danger. Like the song, don't get close to the edge. Stop, look, listen before you lose your head. Right? They're the sort of things that teach you at school. So as you get older, you learn danger. So when a predator has to relearn someone like Candice, they have to get them addicted to something. So they've got that control. So when they have that dependency, that's when they're able to control that person and take over their instinct. He couldn't have done it. If Candice wasn't on drugs or alcohol, he couldn't have done what he's been doing. He couldn't. He wouldn't get away with it. But because most abusers, on both sides, women and men, will get their partners addicted to something, will make them believe they need it, whether it's tablets, whether it's mental health, whether it's a doctor, whether they make them believe they're ill mentally. They could move keys about, move things around to drive a person crazy, enough for them to go to doctors. Doctors give them medication, boom, they're addicted. Candice is the perfect thing. She is addicted. Right? She's dependent and acceptant of everything Don does. If I don't accept it, if I don't accept what he's doing, then I'm not going to get my medication I need to survive this world. I can't survive without it. So she weighs up the balance. Do I leave and struggle and suffer, which will be harder for me? I've got no friends to talk to. That's another thing. He makes her socially unacceptable. He makes his family socially unacceptable. Not notice that Don is the only one that has a social life. He makes the rest of his family socially unacceptable. He teaches his family to look like people. Even Candice has said it herself. If you look on her Facebook that I did the other day, it says, oh, hillbilly redneck. She classes herself as that. I don't. What's a bloody hillbilly redneck? I get what a redneck is supposed to be, but to me, that is racism. But she calls it herself. But she's not a hillbilly. She's from bloody New York, isn't she, or somewhere like that? Wisconsin or somewhere like that. But Don has made them socially unacceptable. Don's made them so Candice, when she goes shopping, will not be approached. The children will behave in a sociable way where people will keep away from them, where they won't make friends because they'll be taught to do things that is not socially acceptable. Summer hasn't got one friend her age. However, out of all of them, Summer would be the one that would come back, if she went to school for one day, would come back with not only little friends her age that want to come and play and want to come and come to the house and stuff like that, but also the fact is that she will make friends with the teachers. She will talk, because she's so used to being with adults, she now becomes vulnerable to abuse outside the home, which Don will see. And Don won't want that because he knows that predators outside will see Summer. So he wouldn't want her to go to school. Because not only could she tell a teacher she can learn to trust, or children's parents that would go, oh my God, then look at Don's history, look at Don's life and think, yep, definitely. He can't control what another predator will do to his own. How dare a person, another predator, come and take and use what he has built all these years. He's waited for. It's his prize. He says it. She's my pride and joy. Not because I gave birth to her, she's my pride and joy. Not because, oh, she's my first girl born, pride and joy. Not because, do you know what, I have waited so long for a daughter. She's everything. She's my pride and joy. Not, you know, when she goes out, she makes friends. She's such a lovely girl. She's good in society. She's my pride and joy. She's going to be the one that's going to be a solicitor or, you know, in the future. He doesn't talk about Summer's future. Most of us, when we have babies and we see their personalities at 5 years old and they want to cook or they want to climb or they want to paint or they want to help clean, we sort of think, oh, there we go, they're going to be a chef. Oh, we've got it looks like we've got a solicitor on the myths. Right? You can't help it, can you? Because of their behaviour, you're like, oh, yeah, it looks like they want to play on computer games and they're undoing everything. And your first thought is, oh my God, why did you undo the bloody DVD player? I wanted to see how it works. And then come a few years later, they're in school and now they're They fix the mechanics of electricals, and they own their own company. But he doesn't see a future. Not once does he talk about the future of his kids. Like, when Chris and everybody asks, simple question, can you describe summer? Describe your children to yourself and see the difference. You describe, well, the personality is, I tell you what, when he grows up or she grows up, it's definitely going to be, a mechanic, definitely going to be, look, definitely going to be a gardener. She loves to pull the garden stuff out. She loves to fix the plants. She loves to grow, or he loves. Nothing like that. What he says? Oh, she twirls like a princess. But we didn't ask you what her behaviour was. Everybody's asking you to describe summer. I don't understand it. I think we're going to have to do this video in 3 parts because, like I said, there is a lot to analyse, but I need to do this to explain to the people who trust in Don. Just look at what we see. Look at what a predator is. See if you can see any of them traits. Come out of your shut down. Everybody's against this person, but they could be innocent, and just think for a moment. And if it means, I don't care if you've followed Don, Candice or whatever, I'm not interested in that. What I'm interested in, please protect your children from these people. Please do not allow them into your property where your children are there or animals. Take your children away before inviting them in. Don't say, come and sleep on my couch, because that will be the next stages of them moving into your predatory stuff. Don't do it. That's all I'm asking you to do. This is for everybody who believes in Don and Candice, just to protect your children till after this case. That's all I'm asking and begging for. But I asked the question, would you leave Don and Candice look after your children? And the amount of people that said yes for a week, that said yes they would and let them in that house, is scary. It's frightening. It's made me need to do this. So it's going to be like a 2 to 3 parter. Because there's a lot to do. But if this means I can save children being hurt, then this is what I'm going to do. And if you lot can support me, I'll be most grateful. If you can press subscribe, press the thumbs up or thumbs down, comment, I would be more than grateful for our channel. Because I really, 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 and spread it as much as you can, because I really, really need them to understand. It doesn't matter whether you believe Don, Candice, or both or none. Please, please, please don't let these people near your children. Please. Don't do it. Not even if you want to prove to other people that you think they're innocent. Please, because you're putting your children in danger. Honest to God, you're putting your children in danger. I get it. You want to prove these people are innocent. I get it. I do. I'm not saying they're guilty or innocent of this crime. I'm telling you that they're guilty of what I'm telling you and what everyone else is seeing. And all I'm asking you to do is please, please, don't let your children near these people. Don't bring these people into your home where your children are safe. Don't do it. Yes, support them by all means. But please, protect your children from them. That's all I'm asking you to do. I'm not asking you to change your mind on protecting them. But when I see children in the visual and in the prayer circle and stuff, it's like, no. You shouldn't be bringing children down there. Not while an investigation's going on. There's a 5-year-old child missing. And on top of that, it's come to light a lot of things Don have done in his past. Please. Don't. Let's get on with it. Right, ready? Okay. So his control is to make sure his family is hated, his family is judged, so his family stays away from people. he makes his family believe that the world is against them and he's the only one that can support them and protect them. He's apologetic constantly because apologies don't mean nothing. It takes a brave person, like look at Mrs. Cher. She attacked people and stuff, which she shouldn't do, but she then apologised. She come online and apologised. It takes a brave person to apologise if they understand that the apology is important and meaningful and of the word. He just apologises because he knows it's an easy way to get into someone's good books, is to make people feel that he is regretful when he's not. I could say, I'm sorry. Yeah, and you're going to say, what for? Well, I don't know, you pick. Because that's what Don's doing. He doesn't know what he's apologising for. He doesn't care that he's apologising. It's just another word. He might as well say, sorry, what for? I don't know, you pick one. Where Don is, he always makes victims. No matter what. No matter what, he makes victims. Right, so Don makes victims of animals and people. Meaning anyone he's got control over. Candice is a victim. Candice's mother is a victim. The boys are victims. If you stop people being their natural selves and control them, you're making them into your victim, because any mistakes you make, they make. Right? Was Don going to use Summer? The reason why I don't believe Don was going to kill her was because, or give her away or anything, was because of three things. One, he could have used Summer as he gets older and more slower and no longer is able to work and stuff. He's not going to move very much. He could use Summer so Summer could bring back friends for him, like his sister did. Remember, he's learnt from when he was young that his sisters have friends come over and stay over, and they have like pajama parties and stuff like that. So could Don be wanting to use Summer to sort of be the catch, make her his partner in crime? Because sometimes you use bait to catch a better fish, right? A more controlling fish. So if Don could have Summer, but then if Summer eventually grows up and buggers off and says, my daddy did this or that, he could be arrested, stopped in prison for the rest of his life, where he wouldn't be able to do anything like that. But if he could get Summer to go to school, bring home young girls, friends, they stay over, he's got a constant supply of children to abuse. So if he can groom Summer into it, he comes into the room, Summer leaves. She knows exactly what's going to happen. But because she's dependent on Don, because Candice doesn't love her, it's only me. Your brothers don't love you, it's only me. Me alone. You can't leave me. I'll die if you leave me. So for the rest of her life, she'll be trapped to until he dies. And she will become from a victim, not a survivor. She could become a victim to dependency, to acceptance, to become like her mum. I don't want him to die. I don't want him to go to prison. I don't want him to be ill. So he has to do this because they depend on him. He managed to get Candice, a very wild card, wild child person, into this submissive, dependent, acceptive victim of what he's doing and how he does it. Candice accepts that Don's got the money. Candice accepts that he pays for everything. He makes the decisions. Candy accepts because at the end of the day, she gets what she needs, which is her addiction sorted out. She doesn't have to worry about anything. She doesn't have to think about anything else. So she's convinced herself in her behaviour, she's convinced herself that this is the best for her. Because the alternative is what? Not being able to afford the drugs, having to go to rehab, having to look after 4 or 5 children, having to find money, having to go and move, everything else. When all she wants to do is just, let's get high. Let me get high so I can forget what's just happened. And the reason why I put Candice as 100% is because there's so much. Sometimes a mother can believe the only way to save her child's life is to take him to heaven. You've seen it in loads and loads of cases, right? That the mother believes when she's been abused and that her kids are better off dead. And then she kills herself. Thinking that she and her kids will be safer. And sometimes they think this world's so cruel. Like some religious people think this world's so cruel that I don't want the devil to get my children. Kill the children so they can go to heaven. So they can be with God, so God protect them, because God's the only one that can protect, because it's pumped into them since they're babies. God's the only one that can protect. No one else can protect your children. So when they grow up, they believe, oh my God, there's paedophiles everywhere. There's people everywhere. Right? There's predators everywhere. And the only way they think that the child will be safe, the only way they know the abusers won't be able to get them. Don't forget, Candice is a female. She's been abused by this man for years and years and years. She doesn't want her daughter to have to go through Don. What happens? Let me ask you a question, guys. What happens when someone's old enough and he doesn't need Candice no more for anything? What do you think's going to happen to Candice? Exactly. He'll just get rid of her. So what if Candice doesn't want Summer to grow up? What if Candice doesn't want that? Because she knows as soon as Don doesn't want her no more, doesn't need her no more, in her head, she has to get rid of her competition, right? She has to get rid of that. So Don has to need Candice more. Oh, I have no doubt Don's upset and sad and misses his daughter and that. Yeah, because he had plans. He had this whole life planned out, ready. He was going to retire, sit back and allow Summer to bring in children, victims. Easy picking. He was going to have a field time. She was getting there. Because all other family members were not sociable, from grandma to Candice to the boys, weren't sociable. But Summer was. She was allowed. And who was she allowed to be close to? But a beautiful, according to Candice and Don, a beautiful, sensitive, loving woman. Now, would she do anything for Summer? Of course, because she's also religious. Would she tell anyone if Don got hold of her and did anything? No, because she's religious. And they will say, well, you went up to his house, because he will play it out to her. Look, you're going to let me do this, because if you don't, everyone's going to say this and I'm going to say this to them. That it's like, you know, when you say the villains in the cartoon always tells the hero what they're going to do and how they're going to do it and why they're going to do it. Well, that's what they do. Exactly the same. They tell the victim, if I do this to you and you go tell anyone, no one's going to believe you. You know why? Because they'll say, well, how did you get to the house? Well, I drove up there. Do you see what I'm saying? And he will normalise to control with his words. He'll be apologetic and he'll make a victim. These are what happens. Right? He will always hide behind religion. The Bible is their get out of jail free card. It's a criminal's get out of jail free card. They play Monopoly. That's their get out of jail free card. Hide behind religion. Now, it's funny how everyone uses the word a sheep in wolf, a wolf in sheep's clothing. Right? Yeah, you're looking at him. Now everyone's saying, oh, there's no track marks on his arms. Oh, no, there's no... Yeah, but Don's not stupid. At the beginning of his life, he would not have shown people he was on drugs. So he would have done it between his fingers. He would have done it between his toes. He wouldn't have done it where you've seen it. And a lot of people who self-harm tattoo over their scar. Like near their scar and that, so you can't see it. He's not stupid. Don's not stupid enough to be addicted to any medication when he's got this much control. He uses his drinking and he uses that because he can stop whenever he wants. He's not addicted to anything. He's using it. He's drinking to make Candice feel happy to drink and then get her addicted. He's taking drugs, using Candice to take drugs. To get Candice addicted. Now he doesn't need to because Candice is addicted. If you look, he probably doesn't take much. He probably drinks and that's it. Like an average man would drink of a night after work. Get drunk now and again. Because Candice is the one that looks drunk and on drugs all the time. Not Don. He's showing people, look at me. I'm the sensible one. I'm the one that goes to work. I'm the one that can cut my hair and make my hair look nice. I'm the one with a shirt on. I'm the one that's dressed. Candice ain't. Look, she's always drunk when she's talking to people. She's always on drugs. Suspect her, suspect her. He's always throwing Candice under the bus. She's allowing him to. She sat right in front of her when he said the only one who loves me is Summer and God. She's right there. And for a guy to have that kind of bollocks, to say that in front of a mother and not expect no consequence, knows you've got full control over that person. He knows he can say anything he likes and she will accept him. Why? Because she depends on him. What for? Her addiction. Get it? And then he'll say, well, she's addicted to it. It's her. I didn't force it into her. She volunteered to go and take it. Yeah, because she was doing it with you. But Don knows how much to take to get addicted and how much not to. He could drink a couple of cans and Candice keep drinking and drinking. Now she's got addicted. He just drinks a couple of cans. She's the one with the addiction with all the bottles and that. Could it be the fact that he was doing this to make Candice such a bad mother that he then turns around and says, look, I can't look after the boys, but what I can do is look after Summer and CPS. Was his that next move? Did Candice know that? Could that have been his next move as Summer got older? Don wanted the courts to grant him responsibility over Summer so then he could do what he wants when he wants. And the courts, and he said, well, you gave it to me. You said I was a better dad. So then when Summer does come out with it, he says, well, the courts gave it to me. The courts gave me, because they said that I'm your dad and you have to do what I say to take full control of Summer. Could you imagine if the courts gave him the rights over the kids? It'll be like, oh, The courts gave me you, so I own you. It's the law. You've got to do as I say. It's the law. Right? Everybody's fault. It's everybody's fault. The police fault because they didn't listen to what I said and blocked the area. It's the police fault someone's missing because they didn't do this. It's Chris's fault. He made me. No, you called him. No, he called me first and then I called him back. Prove it. Well, we can't get the records. Oh, that's convenient. Normalising it again. Where the police have got my phone and can't get the records. Number 2. Oh, I don't have Wi-Fi in my area. It's not very good. So I have to go all the way into town. No. Have you not noticed that he's not letting anyone else on that property? Have you not noticed we haven't seen that property for weeks? So what's happening on that property? What are they doing? What don't they want you to see on that property? The grandma should have been back by now. Candy said she'll be back in a few weeks. Well, a few weeks has gone past. It's been 5 weeks. Where is she? Since she said that. She said she'd be back in August. Where is she? Do you see what I'm saying, guys? This is why Candice and Don are always put in the front. And the grandma, because of their behaviour. He's guilty of his behaviour. She's guilty of her behaviour. And the grandma's guilty of her behaviour. They are guilty. They are guilty of being bad parents. They are guilty of being selfish. They are guilty because they are normalising things that aren't normal. And then they use an excuse of, I haven't got enough money, but drive around in a brand new Subaru that every single person that I know would love a car like that. Would love land like that. 11 acres. Oh my God. What I could do with that land. How many animals and kids could I save that are struggling to come and work on there and make them feel like they're important. What I could do with that land. What you could do with that land. We're not going to get that chance. Most of us will never get a chance to own our own homes, have a big 11-acre land like that with woods and everything else and live free like that. Would we? But they're in poverty, yeah? I don't see them being underweight and starving, do you? Do you see them underweight? Do you see them struggling to eat? I don't see it. As far as I know, they're always ordering in every day, according to Ali and everyone else, all the neighbours and that. All their neighbours keep bringing food up to feed the kids and stuff. So they're saving a lot of money there, aren't they? People are donating dog food and stuff. Why aren't they showing you the property? Where are the dogs? Are the dogs being taken by the ASPCA? What's happening? Why won't they? Why is Don every time he's talking in a different place? Now, yes, you're normalising. Well, we're in a place where you can't get signals and you can't talk and that. Yeah. Well, if that's true, then how did Candice and you speak on Messenger? He said he was on the phone to Candice all the time he was driving back. Well, if they haven't got much of a signal for, why don't they go on their mum's, Candice's mum's phone? Because according to them, you can call out, you can have signals, and you can do stuff. Think about it, guys. Where are the dogs? When was the last time you seen their place? What's happening? Why is Don keeping us away from Candice? And why is Don... They did this at the beginning. Why? Because Don probably beat her up. Now Candice has been out the limelight since Chris did that interview. And they did a couple of visuals and that's it. But why is Don always driving away or speaking to people live away from the house? What is it? What are they hiding? We've seen it all. So what's different? Think about that, guys. Right, so we're going to do in the next video inappropriate behaviour, history and all this rest. Right, on a second video, which I'll do in a couple of minutes. And then we should in that video be able to cover Candice and Grandma. And then hopefully this stops people trusting Don and Candice and Grandma. And even if it means that you just be more cautious and don't let your kids out your sight with these around, then I would have done my job. I'm begging you. If you believe Don is innocent and Candice good, well and done. But I'm just begging you, please, don't put your children in any sort of danger just to spite other people. Just to prove a point. It's not worth it. Your child's life ain't worth proving something's right or wrong. Okay, guys? Just please, if this goes out to just one person, I'm not saying don't believe Don. I'm not saying don't keep your beliefs. All I'm saying is I'm giving you ammunition to watch out for. Just protect your children. Protect your animals and children from these people. That's all I'm asking you to do. If you don't believe Don did this to his sisters, if you don't believe that, that's your belief. You can find out the truth. You can talk to them. You're an adult. You can do what you want. But I am begging you. I'll go down on my knees and beg you. Please. Don't put your children's life and health at risk just to prove a point. It ain't worth it. This is Chip from Mystery Angels. Look after your family. Look after you. Look after your kids because they grow up so fast. And by the way, catching a wild crocodile.